proposed by the Senate. We are saying counties should get 335 billion and not the 310 billion that had been proposed by the Treasury. But that argument will be beefed up if today we confirm that during your one-year tenure, the funds that you've received have been put to use. Let's look at the exceptions. Already, the Auditor General has given us 20 pages of reasons why that money has not been put into proper use. Now, let's look at them one by one and see the kind of conclusion we'll arrive at the end of the day.
It's very specific, and it will help us, Governor, if you can be specific. You use restricted tender, but as the chairperson has said, and also as the auditor has pointed out, that there were no notes from the accounting officer to justify why you should use restricted tender. The tender process is very elaborate. You have given us annexures which have not seen the award letter that you issued out, the acceptance, and also really the justification. And the queries that the auditor has raised, you've not responded to them. And when you come here, it shocks me to hear that you say we can supply that. And the chairman earlier on stated that this audit process is clearly elaborate. Which brings me now to my question. Were you part of the audit process? And why is it that now these documents are readily available here, yet they were not available to the auditors at the time of the audit, and even 14 days later, which the law provides you for 14 days later to be able to submit documents to the auditor in case there are issues that you feel that the auditors overlooked?
In response to the contract agreement for projects, the regular award and the payment for rehabilitation and civil works, and the observation that the contract agreements for the projects lacked the project's completion date. In response, I would like to say that the entire document was not attached to the payment voucher, hence also some extracts from the main tender document were attached. Unfortunately, we have since extracted the contract agreement which indicates the project start and completion date. There is it's reflected in Annex 1. In A, the bill of quantities, summary, supervision and monitoring, costs and contingencies.
Order, Governor, where would the annexures also be provided so that we can be able to follow? Clerks?
Yeah, the observation that the bill of quantities, summary, supervision and monitoring costs and contingencies were not supported by recommendations of an evaluation committee, neither was it approved by the accounting officer, contrary to section 132(2)(c) and E of the Public Procurement Act 2015. In our response, we say that in the first interim certificates presented for payment by both contractors, there were elements of prime cost and provisional sums claimed. However, this was not approved for payment because they lacked supporting schedules, hence the contractors were paid less prime cost and provisional sums. And B, there was no accounting officer's recommendations or any reason for the use of restricted tendering as required by section 102 A to D of the Public Procurement.
Just a point of order, Chair. Can the Governor just go straight to his response instead of reading the query again as per the auditor?
Okay. Yeah, the response will be, after awarding the advertised projects, we realized savings in our budget. This prompted us to undertake the extension of Kotile water supply to Hopi and Aligerere settlement centers where drought was negatively impacted on the permanent water source and the citizens were suffering due to acute water shortage. The reasons for going restricted method of procurement was a time factor pursuant to section 102B of the Public Procurement and Disposal Act. As the time and cost of advertisement, examination and evaluation of tenders will be disproportionate to the value of the projects, bearing in mind we were in the last quarter of the financial year 2017-2018. We found it necessary to use the restricted tendering method to realize the implementation of this particular project. Therefore, the department was not in a position to use the open tender method for these projects, as this will take more time.
And I want to bring out what you've told us in respect of what the chair has already said. Adequacy and effectiveness of the internal control system. Adequacy and effectiveness of the entity's risk management. And 3, likely causes of any weaknesses observed, implications, and agreed remedies. And yet, after making this bold statement, we now notice there are very many links. For instance, the water drilling and the boreholes. I happen to have worked in that region, and I know the water table is fairly reasonably high. It's not very deep. And it's full of silt, and therefore it's important that you get clean water. Why didn't you go through this process? Because you knew, as one of your co-mandates in the provision of water to Garissa County, why do you have to leave it until the last tail end of the financial term, and then you hurry up going for single sourcing?
Noted that this was in response to a drought situation which was already in existence. And the 2, for the proposed drilling and development of Togo borehole in Balambala sub-county in the contract number CCG WST T04 2017-2018, there was no hydrological test, survey, and environmental impact assessment carried out. Further drilling was not supported by the government permit license as guarantee on quality and quantity of water. In addition, this was the response. The response is a hydrological survey was carried out for the borehole. The report is hereby attached for audit verification reference. I think it's in the annex. The laboratory test for the water was not carried out as the borehole drilled was dry, which means that not water or water fit for human consumption was not found there. Therefore, there was no water from the borehole that was to be tested. A dry borehole report is provided as evidence. It's also in Annex 1.2. The Fieldworks Developers Limited was contracted to supply and install submersible pumps. Although the items were received in stores, there was not. Okay, I think our response to this is the submersible pumps were taken on charge in stores and later issued to the following centers: Banane Gokhar, Kamude, Masalani Water Supply, Mbalambala, Harbole, Fafhajin, and Sakat. The designation of the Inspection and Acceptance Committee is indicated in their appointment letter.
One would be asking, and that's what I wanted to hear, Governor, is, for example, if you have an existing water project and you want to equip that project, as you have said, this was for equipping the existing water projects under the Fafi, in that Fafi sub-county. If the water project is there, what is ultimately urgent to use restricted tendering to procure equipment worth 12 billion to supply to an existing plant or project? What would be the justification that you would want either to buy pumps or pipes under restricted tendering? Because if it was, for example, medical supplies, we would say people are sick overnight and they have to be treated. But this is an existing water project. People are drinking water. You want to extend it, and you have clearly stated here in your response, because I was looking at your response where you quoted. You are saying here that it is a proposed extension of Kotile water and Algeria, Hobi, Jara, whatever, for the proposed equipping of water supply under Fafi, that number. So it's an existing project. What section of it is emergency to require? Or what is specialist about the supply of pumps, pipes for a water project that will justify the use of restricted tendering? The reason I'm pursuing that, Governor, is if you leave that open, then what happens ordinarily in counties and other entities is you leave that for officers to abuse. And when they want to award a certain job to a company X or to a person Y, then they will just come and say that we have a case here where we are going to give this tender under restricted tendering.
I hear you, Governor. Can you provide us with the evidence that the accounting officer made a justification that was then subjected to the necessary procedures before you went for restricted tendering on this?
Yes, Chairman, we can provide.
Why was it not? You see, if you gave it to us, we can say it has since been manufactured. Why was it not availed to the Auditor General? Because that's the gist of his query.
I think mine, but
okay. Maybe the two of you. One was the dams of Elgeyo Marakwet. The numbers might be different. The numbers might be smaller, but the seems to be similar. So, like in you have a contract agreement that is open-ended. You have BQs that are questionable. You have restricted procurement. And you have a situation where hydrological surveys has not been done. And certain quality tests have not been provided. And you have also a situation where items have been received, but the issues have not been properly accounted for. As messy as their roads and Kimaregs, I mean, it's just the same trade, the same pattern of discrepancies. And so it cannot just be an issue of saying that the documents were finally found, and so Senate, here are the documents. I think that we need to look at this a little bit keenly. So then, you see, we are supposed to be having a conversation with you, Governor, on how to enhance the revenue that goes to counties, and how to enhance the transfer of functions to Garissa County, and not spend an entire morning arguing over paperwork, things that the Auditor General ought to have done. I find it difficult, members, to engage in this conversation, and it becomes frustrating because we are seeing this across 47 counties, doing things that ought to have been done during the audit period. Now, Governor, you must ask the people, your accounting officer, your CC Finance, your Chief Officer Finance, what they were doing and why they did not provide these documents to the Auditor General at that time. And why are they being brought to the Senate? I mean, we are not auditors. We are a bunch of politicians. We are a bunch of pragmatists. What we are looking out for is value for money. I want to make that very clear, so that even as we go into subsequent issues, it is not enough for you to tell us that the document has since been provided. Because we will reach the conclusion that the document has since been manufactured. And if documents are manufactured to satisfy the Senate, then there has to be very serious implications in line with the law. I think we need to establish that audit is a process. All these things ought to have been done then. Now, I want to allow my members to